Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Priyanka Neela Krishnan show with me, Priyanka Neela Krishnan. This is Enterprise Security Series episode 36, and today's topic: they are stealing your data, but they cannot read it yet. Harvest now, decrypt later. I want to tell you about a breach that is happening to your organization right now, tonight, and it will not show up in a single log or alert. Somewhere quietly, an adversary is copying encrypted data out of a network like yours. And here is the strange part: they cannot read a byte of it. Your encryption is holding, it is doing its job perfectly fine. And they are still stealing the data anyway, deliberately, and filling it away in cold storage. Because they are not betting on today's mathematics, they are betting on tomorrow's. This strategy has a name that security people now say almost casually, and it deserves more weight than that. Harvest now, decrypt later. Take the locked box today, wait for the key to be invented. Open it in a few years at your leisure. Which means the most honest way to describe some of your most sensitive data is this: it has already been stolen. It simply has not been read yet. The reason this graduated from a theoretical worry to a board level one is a specific event, and it has a date. In August of 2024, NIST, the US standards body, finalized the first 3 post-quantum cryptography standards. That was the starting gun. It was the moment the entire industry accepted formally that the encryption protecting almost everything today has a shelf life, and that a future computer will be able to break it. And critically, our adversaries heard the same starting gun. If you know a locked box will one day be openable and storage is cheap, the rational move is to start collecting locked boxes now. NIST's own transition guidance says this plainly. The reason the migration is urgent is precisely that sensitive data often keeps its value for many years, and harvest now, decrypt later puts that long-lived data at risk today. Let me be clear about the asymmetry here, because it is the whole game. The attacker's side of this is trivial: intercept encrypted traffic or exfiltrate an encrypted archive and store it. That is it. A hard drive and patience. Your side is brutally hard, and it is hard in a way that is easy to underestimate. To defend against a future decryption, you had to have protected the right data correctly, years in advance, before the threat was even visible on anyone's roadmap. They get to act in the future with hindsight. You had to act in the past with none. And the timelines make it real. The best public estimates put a cryptographically relevant quantum computer somewhere in the mid-2030s. NIST's transition plan decrypts today's workhorse algorithms, RSA and elliptic curve, by 2030 and disallows them entirely by 2035. A credible enterprise migration takes somewhere between 5 and 15 years, and do that subtraction honestly, and you find that for a lot of long-lived data, the clock did not just start, it is already behind. So let me give you the receipts and then be honest about what is actually in the crosshairs. The dates are real. NIST finalized the first post-quantum standards in August of 2024. Its transition plan decrypts today's workhorse algorithms, RSA, and elliptic curve by 2030 and disallows them entirely by 2035. This is the timeline you're raising. Now, what is worth harvesting against that timeline? Not everything. A session token that expires in 10 minutes is worthless to a patient adversary. The target is anything with a long shelf life. Health records still sensitive in 20 years. Intellectual property, trade secrets, source code, legal files and financial history, government and defense material, and the one that should genuinely frighten you, biometrics, because a biometric is the single credential you can never rotate. If your password leaks, you change it. If your face or your fingerprint or your iris leaks and it gets decrypted in 2035, there is no reset button. If your data still matters a decade from now, then a decade is exactly the timeline the harvester is working on. Now, here is where almost everyone gets the response backwards. And this is the reframe I most want you to take from this whole series of the last five. People hear the word quantum and they reach straight for cryptography. Buy the new algorithms, swap those ciphers, done. And yes, there is a real step, but it is the last step, not the first step. Because you cannot upgrade the protection on data you cannot find, and you do not have to protect data you never kept. Post-quantum readiness is a data classification and a data retention problem long before it is a cryptography problem. I repeat, post-quantum readiness is a data classification and a data retention problem long before it is a cryptography problem. Every serious migration guide, NIST included, says the same thing. It starts not with a purchase, but with an inventory. Where is your sensitive data? What is it? How long does it need to stay secret? And are you still holding things you should have let go of years ago? So, what does the right response actually look like? In order, because the order is what everyone gets wrong. It does not start with a purchase. It starts with an inventory. Step 1. Find out where your long-lived sensitive data actually lives. Everywhere, including the copies you forgot about. And step 2, classify it by confidentiality, lifetime, not just by sensitivity. Because the question that matters here is how many years does this need to stay secret? And step 3, minimize, and this is the step almost everyone skips, retire what you no longer need to hold. And then, and only then, step 4, plan the cryptographic migration for what remains. Inventory, classify, minimize, then migrate. Inventory, classify, minimize, and then migrate. Do it in that order, and the migration is a manageable project. Do it out of order, and you're buying quantum-resistant encryption for data you cannot even find. One move, and it is the same muscle every episode in the series has been building. Find your longest lived, most sensitive data, the material that has to stay secret for a decade or more. Now ask 2 questions about it. Do we even know everywhere it lives? Like everywhere it lives? And are we still keeping things in there we could safely delete? You're not buying quantum-resistant encryption this week. You are doing the boring, foundational thing that makes that purchase possible later, and that shrinks the target in the meantime. Let me close not just this episode, but this whole set of 5, and I want to start with a callback because long-time viewers will recognize it. This is the exact same lesson from my episode on dark data, just stretched across a longer timeline. The cheapest way to survive a breach is to not be holding the data when the breach happens. Simple, isn't it? Not be holding the data when the breach happens. That's all. That was true when the breach was today's smash and grab. It is even more true when the breach is this slow motion, one that has already quietly started. The data you deleted cannot be harvested. The data you cannot even find cannot be copied and shipped off to be opened later. For years, we treated data minimization as a compliance score. It was always a security control, and in a harvest now, decrypt later world, it becomes something closer to a time machine. Now, step back and look at all 5 episodes together because one thread runs through everyone. You cannot count your agents. You cannot watch their sessions. You cannot trace their answers. You cannot outrun their speed. And underneath all of it, the data itself is being carried off to be read years from now. 5 problems, 1 lesson. Stop guarding doors and start governing data. Know exactly what you have, know precisely who and what can touch it, and have the discipline to ask whether you should still be keeping it at all. The slow breach is already in progress. The only question left is how much you have chosen to leave lying around for it to take. I am Priyanka Neela Krishnan, and that closes the set. If it changed how you see this, please do subscribe and send it to one security leader who still believes the perimeter is the point. See you in the next one. Until then, this is me, Priyanka Neela Krishnan, signing off. Bye, everybody. Stay safe, stay secure. These are some of the sources from the presentation today. If you want, do check it out, and I'll see you in the next one.